Welcome back. The dust has settled and ballot boxes have been emptied in what has been one of the most contested and high-stake elections in Zambia. Longtime foe of Edgar Lungu and six-time presidential runner walked away victoriously from last Thursday's general elections. Going slightly past the 72-hour promise, the Electoral Commission of Zambia announced the final consolidated results in the wee hours of this morning. The results place UPND's Wamundila Chilinda square in the lead with some 2.8 million votes, while incumbent Edgar Lungu amassed 1.8 million votes. Joining me from Lusaka is independent journalist Wamundila Chilinda. Good morning, sir, and welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning, Denver, and good morning, Namibia.
Wamundila, quite the elections you guys had over there. How would you reflect on the just concluded elections?
Oh, yes. To me, the 2021 general election was a revolution against the government that people felt was quite arrogant. People had a revolution against the farmers of the ruling party, the former ruling party, the Patriotic Front, who had no regard to the rule of law and the laid-down government system. It was a revolution of the insensitive government, a revolution against the party that supported federalism and regionalism. So the revolution against corruption, the inflated cost of infrastructure, the cost of living and the plight of the Zambian people and their standard of living. It was also, to an extent, a revolution against an economy that was centered on the party and its strength as opposed to the general population. It was also a revolution against self-imposed third term imposed by a candidate of the former ruling party, as well as a revolution against the killing of innocent citizens. So this is how best I think I can describe this election.
Let's please juxtapose these elections against those of 2016. What shifts have you observed?
Yeah, I'll go slightly back to 2015, going by how the former president, the past president, brother, the current president, who is running out of power of the president-elect, Edgar Lungu. In 2015, he came in to replace the late Michael Sata, and that continued also in the following election of 2016. So it was clearly that he was dwelling on a sympathy vote and the legacy that was built in a very long time by the late Michael Sata. And finally, when he had the full term to himself, he lost that sympathy vote that he had, going by the way he came out as the man in charge of the party and the country himself.
Wamundila, please help us understand what you observe in terms of sentiments coming from the HH camp following this long-sought victory.
Yes, interesting. Yeah, very interesting person. The sentiments that are coming from the United Party for National Development that have just won this election is that they're calling for national unity. They're asking their members to embrace all Zambians, regardless of their political affiliation. This is interesting in the sense that, going by what party members and the leader of the United Party for National Development has gone through, we saw too many unnecessary arrests of the leader and the members. The president-elect himself has been arrested about 15 times, most of them on drug charges. And having this kind of sentiments really is quite encouraging. And they have insisted, whatever the promise in terms of bringing the country together, they have even maintained enough district beacon for the new ruling party.
Now, on Saturday, we saw President Lungu objecting to the results, and then an alliance of main opposition parties called on him to concede and accept the outcome of the elections. Are you able to confirm this? And has there been any communication from the presidency to this effect?
Absolutely no communication from the time that statement was released by the Special Assistant for Press and Public Relations. One, because the complainant was a contender himself in the elections, and it was tipped over a system that people felt is moving the state machinery, because the statement was printed on the State House headed paper. But mainly, at the same time the statement was coming out, the European Union Election Observer Mission, EOM, and other political players, other than the UPND, did release another statement that actually put the blame on the Patriotic Front presidential candidate, particularly Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, because they reminded him on how he made it difficult, how he made the playing field uneven for the opposition. It was clear that where he was living in some areas where he was doing very well, like the Copper Belt, which actually U-turned in this election, the president-elect Makande Hichilema was barred from attending in this area. So, for lack of a better term, his statement was completely ignored and concentrated on following the announcement of the results.
There's no doubt that the next couple of days will be critical. What can we expect in these coming days as per the transitional period and the inauguration of the President Act of 2016?
Yes. According to Article 101 of the Constitution of Zambia and the Electoral Process Act of 2016, plus the transitional period and the inauguration of President Act number 32 of 2016. Going forward from today, Cabinet will constitute a special committee consisting of the Secretary to the Cabinet as chairman, his deputy as deputy chairman. There are some selected permanent secretaries in the key ministries, the Inspector General of Police, the Army Commander, and a few others. We will have to set up this committee and start the preparation of the inauguration, of course, with consultations and presentations from the new ruling parties to make sure that within 7 days, the inauguration is held not anywhere else but in Lusaka. So we are fully aware that as we speak, they are actually voting on that, and also will receive official communication on how they are going to proceed with the inauguration ceremony.
Wamundila, I
this
believe
happened side by side with so the swearing in of the vice president elect, who was also the running mate to the president elect Makande Hichilema. Yeah.
I believe there's consensus that President-elect Hichilema has his work cut out for him. How considerable a factor do you think tribal politics as well as political alliances will be during his reign?
Say that again?
There's consensus, I believe, that the President-elect has his work cut out for him. How considerable a factor do you think tribal politics and political alliances will be during his tenure?
Going by the outcome of the results, for the first time, not necessarily the first time, but as the post the 2016 election, we have balanced and the national character in terms of presentation in government. So going by how he has picked the National Assembly seats from all over the country, issues of tribalism will be a thing of the past. And like we are about to put it, if you look at the alliance as a whole, there's representation from almost all the regions. So we hope not to see any political threat coming into play. I must also hasten to say, among other reasons why I think it was so difficult for him to form government in the past, because there was this threat of time. Because maybe the manner in which he took over the parties from the late president of this particular United States Commission of Development, Mazoka, and also the number of seats that are getting only in their strong. So we are pretty sure that issues of tribalism have actually been cleared. This is also demonstrated by the support that has garnered from all these areas that were considered that they were also voting in protest against what was previously referred to as a national party.
As we wrap up our conversation this morning, what does the future look like for Zambia from your perspective?
Say that again.
As we conclude our conversation this morning, from your perspective, what does the future hold for Zambia?
It's a new dawn to Zambia. I must indicate that this is a big lesson to politicians, not just in Zambia, but probably in Africa, that politicians have learned not to take people for granted. The picture is completely different from what it was perceived in the eyes of the former ruling party, the Patriotic Front. It is a clear demonstration that people were tired. And they wanted to reclaim their country of, full of peace, their country of national character, their country where they can exercise the right to express themselves. It is also a clear indicator to even the president-elect that should he not respect the will of the people, they are equally going to kick him out wherever they are kicked out in particular government. So it brings new hope. It teaches very good lessons. And it has energized Zambians that they are the employers of these so-called politicians who are entrusted to run affairs of the country. It is also a sign or an indicator to demonstrate that Zambia shall always be for Zambians, and Zambia will always be a beacon of peace and national unity.
Thank you very much. We hope that the transition will be smooth. That was independent Zambian journalist Wamundila Chilinda talking to us about the regime change in his country. We'll be back after the brief break.